Hello and welcome to Goose TV. I'm your host, Charlie Stivers, and super excited about today's guest. You know how you often find yourself saying, I wish I could clone myself? Well, in this case, we have a autotrader solution to trade crypto 24/7, 365. So it's a really interesting way to lock in gains and take advantage of the up and down swings in the markets. So today's guest, we have Francine Lou Miller, who's a good friend, local friend who I've gotten to know over the last few years, who's been in the industry, and the founder of GoBabyTrade, Ed Barsano. Welcome to Goose TV, you guys.
Hey, Charlie. Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. I'm super fascinated by the solution that you created with the auto trader solution, GoBabyTrade. Uh, and you started out with stocks, and then now you've added crypto, I think, at the peak of the bull market I saw in your information. Um,
And
yeah. So
Right.
Francine, let's start with you and get your perspective as a user first, and then
mhm.
we'll kind of weave in Ed's story and solution.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because I was really impressed by that same thing, Charlie. When Ed started his auto trader 3.5 years ago. Of course, he's had the auto trader for stocks for 24 years, which also was super impressive. But yeah, so hey everybody, my background is in the legacy financial market. So I actually traded stocks for global hedge funds and mutual funds for about 20 years, dove into crypto space, several years ago. That's how I met Charlie. And I don't want to trade anymore. I'm sort of done staring at charts all day and all the different time frames. So I was looking for a solution to take advantage of volatility in crypto and experimented with, a couple of different bots. And, I would find that they would, stop on me. They're supposed to be, continuing to trade for me, and then they'd stop or I'd run out of money. There'd be an error message. I was always having to fiddle with it. So when I met Ed about a year ago through a good friend of mine, we actually had a little, crypto group together as well, and introduced me to Ed. Started using the auto trader, and I was like, "Holy cow! This thing actually brings in the money management piece. I never run out of money. It is just like so smooth. Literally, I just know it's in the cloud, all cloud based. Ed will get into that, but it's just operating for me while like 24/7, 365, totally hands free. Exactly what I wanted. The money management parameters in there, it prevents you from like running out of money. The goal is we're just always taking profits no matter where the cryptos are trading. But it doesn't matter about price. We're just pulling little profits out of the market all the time. So anyway, yeah, pretty excited about it, as you can probably tell. So thanks, Ed, too, for taking the time to share with us, because I know Ed is super excited, and Ed actually was one of the original programmers at Microsoft, one of the first of the 350 developers there back in.
Something like that.
Yeah, so he's been doing AI since 1989. Yeah, so maybe Ed can just start a little bit of your story, Ed. Yeah.
It's cool. I always like to hear about me. I like to hear others talk about me. Um,
Yeah. Hmm.
well, I after I retired from Microsoft, when I was 39, which is crazy to retire at 39.
Yeah.
Um, I looked at the stock market and I said, that's numbers going up and down. And, but I saw it and then I ignored it because the market was going up anyways. So I was in all those tech stocks. But then in 2000, I got hammered. And the exact words I said after being retired for 5 years, I said, you picked on the wrong guy, man. I'm going to hurt you. And I don't know who you is, but I'm going to prove that the stock market is nothing but numbers going up and down. And
Mm.
what you need is proper money management. So I released the auto trader to the public.
Mm.
And, it was, of course, of course, most people didn't understand that because they were taught to look at indicators all day and try to predict things. And I'm like, you don't have to look at any of that stuff. If you were running a 7-Eleven, you put product on the shelf and you sell it at a higher price. And you know what I always like to do before, when I start talking about the robotic trader is I like to explain how it works. And then once you understand how it works, then you're on board. Then you get it, and then you understand, and you realize it's like, wow, the numbers, it is just numbers going up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And do you mind if I share my screen, Charlie,
That'd be
Yeah, no.
for a
great.
second? So,
Have at it, sir.
so I was talking to an audience. I was teaching an AI class, and I saw a whiteboard, and so I thought I'd walk over to the whiteboard and just, so I drew a picture of a bucket and a well, and I said, if it's just water and the bucket goes from the top to the bottom, and it picks up the water and goes back up, and it dumps out the water, and then it goes back all the way down to the bottom and gets the water and goes all the way back up and dumps it out. I said, how much water can it pump in a lifetime? And people started throwing numbers out like 1,000,000 gallons, 1 billion gallons, 1 trillion gallons. Nobody objected to those crazy numbers. So then I said, well, what if it's the crypto market and it doesn't have to go all the way down and it doesn't have to go all the way up? And no matter where it goes, you're just buying and selling and just taking the money, buying and selling. And it just repeats forever. And so it, even if it goes lower, that's okay. Hold that one. It'll be there. I call a well-seasoned auto trader has a lot of inventory. A lot of inventory. Inventory is good. Down is good. I mean, these are things that I always talk about. And it doesn't matter how far down it goes. You're always taking money. And the always taking money part is what adds up forever. And nobody can stop it. And with proper money management, it doesn't matter how far down it goes. You're always taking money. And if it ever jumps up like 20%, like we just saw, it'll close out everything it was holding. So the secret to the market is always take money. So I was doing this for about 6 years, and I got a call from TD Ameritrade, and they called out of the blue. And he said, I mean, I was surprised. I'm like, why are you calling me? I mean, I don't advertise or anything. I'm just word of mouth, from clients that are using the software they share. And his answer was pretty profound. He said, you're real. That's all he said. He had me at you're real. Because I mean, I am real. There's not, if you keep taking profits forever, it'll add up forever. And that's without any gambling or anything. I call it a 7-Eleven without the bricks and mortar. You don't have to employ and hire people. You don't have to have people behind the register. You don't have to buy product and put it on shelves and sell it all day. The auto trader does all that for you, 100% unattended.
And one of the things you did too, Ed, which I love from being a market technician myself for so many years, and this really like secured the deal for me with you, is that the auto trader itself like stands on its own. We can take profits like this all day, but you added the layer of AI because in your stock auto trader, you had like 10 screens, like multiple screens of what you say, people could like, mess themselves up, right? By trying
I
to.
had 10, what I say is, I had 10 screens because I wanted to let everyone do whatever they normally do
Mhm.
and then compare it to what would happen if you just chase money directly without
Yeah.
worrying about the indicators. I
Mhm.
put all the indicators inside the AI. So when a coin is going higher, the software is the star of the dish, not the AI. The AI is a nice add-on. So
Mhm.
when the price is going higher and the software wants to take profit, it'll call the AI and it'll say, "Hey AI, do you think the price is going to go higher in the next few minutes?" The AI can't predict what it's going to do tomorrow. No one could do that. If you could do that, you'd be the richest person on the planet.
Yeah.
So it can predict with pretty good accuracy if it sees a pattern, if the coin's going to go higher in the next few minutes. And if the AI says higher, we'll hold off on taking the profit and it'll let it go higher. And then it'll call the AI again and say, do you think it's going to go higher? The AI says no. So then the software takes the profit. And then there's
Yeah.
a second AI when a price is going lower and the software says, I want to buy more now at a lower price, there's another AI that it'll call and it'll say, do you think it's going to go lower? If it says no, the software takes the profit.
Or makes the
Now
purchase.
those AIs have 27 indicators in it. I took all the indicators and put it all in the AI. AI is great for deep learning and pattern recognition. Let the AI do it. It does it brilliantly, and it does it way better you could ever do it if you were sitting in front of screens. You could be sitting in front of 27 screens. You won't even see the pattern that the AI sees. It's remarkable.
Okay. And then I still
So
have
if you
control. Do you want to show? Let's just give me a
Not a
heads up
great
when you want to
connection
show
with you,
another.
Ed. But
Oh, okay. I was gonna switch over to the Alchemy Pay. I just want to show this chart on CoinMarketCap just to show you. Look at all these trades. That's in a year, and then you get these crazy bumps where a coin will
Right.
jump literally 200% in a day or two, and it'll just close out. If you had any of those excess lots that you bought at a higher price, it'll just close them all out. So it's just, if you look at if I look at the whole history of Alchemy Pay, I started trading Alchemy Pay when it was at 12 cents a share, and now it's at 2 cents. So you think, well, he's got to be losing all this money, right? I've taken a fortune off the table in all these wiggles, and then you get these beautiful windfalls. And then you're making all this money again on the wiggles, even though things are down. People think down is bad, and I say down is good. Go down there because it can never go back up without giving you money. You're like the tax man. I mean, don't put that on the internet. Somebody will say, you're not the tax man. You're not allowed to collect taxes, but you are like the tax man because you don't allow the price to move. You've got the market trapped in 3% windows up and down. So it literally can't move without giving you money.
So in
And
this
there's
scenario, if
no
you would have
more.
bought and hold, you would have pretty much been, right where you started. But in this case, taking advantage of the volatility, you've
Mhm.
locked in several trades.
Yeah, thousands of trades.
Maybe
If
Yeah.
you bought when the crypto winter started in October of 21, if you bought Alchemy Pay at 12 cents, you'd still be sitting in it because it's at 2 cents now. So you'd be kind of miserable for 3 years. And instead, we're taking all this free money. I call it free money off the table forever. I mean, literally forever. And then we get these beautiful, crazy windfalls, where a coin will jump, 200% in one day.
maybe we should
And
show your
and the other point I was going to make, and you don't have to have a lot of experience in trading the markets because it's all programmed in.
You don't need any experience, zero. You don't need to know anything about. I mean, Charlie, you know 1,000 times more about cryptos than I know. All I know is it's just numbers going up and down. Look at all those trades. That's a 7-day report right there. Look at all those trades.
Yeah, Alchemy Pay is one of the 3 like default cryptos. Most people will say, well, what are you trading at? I have no idea what to trade. And so Ed has a default button, which we'll show you in a minute. You can just click that and trade the default ones. Depending on your balance, you could add. We also have like this great highest trade count report. So you might pick a couple off of that report and throw those in if you want. But even just trading the basics, keeping it simple, people do
Sure.
really well. We can show that trade report. Maybe we should hop in the
Yeah.
Can we jump into the trade report before the auto trader?
What
We could.
do you
It's
think?
right on the website.
Yeah. These
If you go
reports.
to the
So
website and click buy accounts
take any of
report.
this as financial advice or enticement. This is
Yes.
show and tell.
Show and tell. That's right. It's
Yeah, I always say that I'm not an investment advisor, but a lot of people listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, and just so people are clear, this is simply a
It's right on the website. It's got the highest counts report, and
Okay.
you don't have to be a subscriber to see it. This report I put out once a month. I think it's going to come out by maybe tomorrow or later today, is the April report will be available right now. This is the March report. It comes out once a month. And it shows it's actually a back test from the previous year using minute bars. How many trades you would have got for each coin. Like 2,213 trades for Swift. I like WIF 1,891. And then it also shows the monthly average, how many trades on average per month. And then also per month, how many trades you would have got per month on each month. And like the first two, I personally don't like, even though they have great numbers up here. I don't like to see stuff like 15 trades in a month, 18 trades in a month, or 12 trades. I don't like that. Whereas the next three, WIF, Pepe, Bonk, and Ondo, these are very popular. A lot of clients trade these four coins because the lowest trade in a month was 55 on that one, 52 on this one, 48 on Bonk, and 48 on Ondo. And every other month was bigger than those months. I mean, that's remarkable. I always look at the downside. What's the worst that's going to happen to me? And now these top two, we've had the last 3 or 4 months, they've been really rocking. So now the court is out. Are they going to jump? Are we going to get a lot of are they going to continue these big numbers? Or are they going to go back to this? And so there's the challenge, which ones do you want? You can always change your coins. But I don't like low volume coins. The auto trader eats volatility. The high volatility is gold to a robotic trader. If you go down to the lower numbers, you can see these coins, 7 trades in a month, 0 trades in a month, 9 trades in a month, 14 trades. Even Bitcoin. Bitcoin might be a good coin if you want to be a buy and holder and hold it as an heirloom for your grandkids. I don't know. I don't trade it. I don't own any coins that my robotic trader doesn't trade. Because Bitcoin only gives 307 trades in a month. I mean, in a year, excuse me, or 24 trades per month on average. And it has all these, the highest month that Bitcoin had all year was 35. And that's lowest than the lowest numbers on these top coins. So
Ed,
most traders trade these coins.
Yeah, in addition to maybe your 3, and I turned my video off because I have a weird internet issue happening, you guys. But let's look at the trader. So before we run out of time, because I know
Let's
everybody's
just jump into the trader. The trader now runs on our servers, so you don't have to download any software, and you can just the software just runs no matter where you're at. You could go on vacation, where
And to
there's
be
no
clear,
internet.
you don't have control or access to anyone's capital, right?
No, not at all. Your capital is sitting on Coinbase or Kraken, and the software can only talk to them. Those exchanges, the software will send and tell them, buy this, sell this, buy this, sell this. Even the exchange doesn't know what you're doing. And the software doesn't float any orders in public view, no limit orders. There's nothing sitting out on the internet or out on the exchanges where someone could know what you're going to do next. They don't know what you're doing. Everything is handled internally on the servers.
Yeah,
On our servers. So you don't have to worry about, is it running?
Yeah, so here's the trader that you can see you started since, this one is since inception of 12/19/2021. And your starting account balance.
I started with 200,000. And you can see how much it made, in the last 3 years. And it's right here. This is not a black box system where everything is hidden from you. You actually see everything it's doing. And this is what I was saying about Alchemy Pay. It went from 12 cents to 2 cents. even while it did that, the closed position is 316,000, and the what's open right now is 75,000 because it's down that much.
Mm.
And so even if the company went out of business, they can't take this away from me. If you add up all your closed positions, that's the number right there, 898.
Okay.
Wow.
Open positions are just inventory going up and down,
Right.
whereas closed positions is the auto trader never sells at a loss. It just adds up forever. It's just a number that keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger for the rest of your life. Literally for the rest of your life. You want to talk about an heirloom? Give a grandkid a fully robotic trader that's fully funded.
Right.
You can see the two trades that it did today. You can see it right here. Today's total profits taken. And if I go down to the lower right, I can see the ones without a date. That means today. There's the
Mhm.
At 1 a.m.
159 that took.
Yeah,
And
sounds
what's interesting is these last three trades, it didn't open because I can see the shares match. It didn't open yesterday at 6:45 p.m. at 0.0204, and then it sold it today at 1:05 a.m. in the middle of the night. I don't know about all of you, but I was sleeping when it did it.
Mhm.
And and it sold it at 0.021118. And then at 6:59 this morning, it bought it right back. And it bought it right back at the same price that it bought it
That's
yesterday.
right.
So it went up, gave me free money, then it went back down. I'm like, thanks. Thanks for the free money. How many people
Mhm.
did that?
Mm.
If you're a buy and holder, see the problem, I have a prop. I have a prop here in front of me.
Mhm.
This is my prop, my smart bottle. I never talk about I bought something and it went up, because anybody can buy something and it goes up. That's great. But what I talk about is when it went down. No matter where it goes down here, you're always trading. You're always trading. So, and then, and you're adding lots. I call it each purchase. So call my fingers each lot. If I buy a lot there, then I have one. And if it goes up, I'll sell it. But if it goes down further, 3% lower, it'll buy another one. It doesn't matter how many of these I have, because you're always buying and selling wherever the money is. You're following the dollar, you're following the money, the price of the coin, you're following it around, and you're just taking money constantly
Let's
for
look
forever.
let's look
You
at
know,
that page where you can show the parameters, the settings. I want to make sure we have time to cover that so people can understand that it's so simple. Their default settings. I
oh
don't know
yeah,
those
it's
settings.
a single screen. Like I said before, in my old system, I've been doing this 25 years. You learn a lot in 25 years, especially when you talk to the clients. And I have my trusty pad by me in case I learn anything. I write it down, and the software just gets better and better and better. The old system had 10 screens of settings. And I used to call it 10 screens of ways to blow yourself up. This one doesn't have that. This one has one screen of settings, and by default, all the settings are already set as soon as you sign up.
Mhm.
So you're running. If
Okay.
you just leave the settings alone, then you're running the same strategy I'm running. The same strategy 99% of everyone is running. Now,
Mhm.
some people go in there and change some things, but you can't really change anything really to hurt yourself too much. Not like the old system where you could just blow yourself up,
Yep.
with settings to change. So we're not going to, I don't think we have time to go over every setting, but it basically, you're setting your profit goal of 3%. And it's got some pauses in here that the stock market doesn't generally have. This
Mhm.
one says, because the stock market doesn't move enough, a stock in the stock market can go down and then sit there for 6 months. It's not like that in the crypto market. The crypto market, it'll go down and then it'll go right back up the next day. So what we do is we say max lots open in a single day is 2. if you're buying and selling, you can repeat that 20 times. It doesn't matter. However many times, buy, sell. If it's doing it like, if the market's going up and down in one day, sure, we can trade forever. But if it's just going to accumulate lots and go down and then go down again, we stop after 2 lots. We can always wait till tomorrow. Let the market breathe. I don't know how much people know about the market, the way it moves. The crypto market doesn't move like the stock market. The stock market moves along. It just moves along like this. But the crypto market jumps around. It jumps. Like tomorrow morning, it could jump 80% up or 50% up or 50% down. It jumps around. So if it's going down, we'll wait until tomorrow morning, and then we can always buy more tomorrow morning. We also put 60-minute pauses between the buys. Let the market breathe is what I always say. Let it go where it wants to go. We don't have to be just slowly adding on 3% drops. Let it go. Wait an hour. If it's going down and you buy, wait an hour. It might drop 19% more in the next hour. So
Yeah.
let it go. You don't have to worry about stuff in the crypto market. Just let the market go where it wants to go, and you just take your free money as it moves around. It's pretty straightforward.
And it resets at midnight to that starts the new day. So that's good. And what I really love too, Ed, is the trading window at the bottom. That's part of the money management. So
the software can trade. You can set how big of a trading window you want. Like, I'm set to my expected trading window is 100%. Meaning, I don't care where the price goes. But then there are some people who say, I want to be all in, that kind of stuff. I want to be more aggressive. Okay, well, you can shrink your window down to a 75% trading window. Just lower this to 25. 3% drops times 25 times. Every time it drops 3%, just you're setting it to allow it to buy 25 times down. That's a 75% trading window. So you're saying I want to put all my money into a 75% window instead of a 100% window. That's being more aggressive because the software is going to squeeze more money into a smaller window. Some people go as low as 20, which is a 60% trading window. Now, I don't recommend going below that because then you're going into gamble territory. Because I mean, even the market dropped 50% in the last 6 weeks. I don't know how many people realize that. And, so when it drops, that's a big drop. And it's going to squeeze your money into a 60% window. If it goes below that window, then you're really out of money. You're just watching the prices go up and down and you're not making anything. But if I go back to the main screen, if that ever happens, what would happen is you would increase your window. Say I went to a 90% window. And then, but the software still had used up the funds it had because it used it up here. You go back here and you have your save bucket, current profits saved.
yeah.
We always recommend that everybody save 100% of their profits. So, because we've been in a long-term downtrend since October of 21.
So
Right.
can you explain that a little? So save your profits in USD and don't necessarily compound the profits?
Yes, it's just saving the money. It's not using these profits. I like to save the profits until it builds up instead of just using the profits as it's
Moving down.
as it's making the profits.
Gotcha.
Because if you make $10 on a trade, I don't really feel like you need to really throw that into the next trade. I would rather let it build up. So you have a nice big bucket of money. And I'm telling you, people do a lot with that money. I mean, you can get a Coinbase card, Visa card. Every time I stick my Visa card in to pay for something, my brain thinks, I always think the card that keeps on giving. You know, it's just, I mean, I don't have to do anything.
Funny.
And
Yeah.
I mean, the funds just keep adding up forever. You know, I mean, I can't spend, you know, that much money in a month,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just every month, you know, it's you're just constantly taking money. If you look here on the lower right, you can see the buys don't have any money, any amount, and the sells have profits. So
Mhm.
you can just scroll down and you can just see it's all buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. Sometimes there's a lot of buying, you know, in a row, and sometimes there's a lot of selling. Like right here, there's, you know, on March 7th, there was a lot of selling. I mean, a lot of buying there. But it started the day selling. So it locked in some money, and then the market started going down, and then it said, well, I'm going to buy more at these lower prices.
And Charlie, just,
And
oh, go ahead.
well, if you go to March or January, I mean, look at January, even February 19th and 20th. Look at all these trades on Alchemy Pay. It was
Mhm.
just going up and down, up and down, up and down. And the software said, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Just kept taking free money. I
Yeah.
call the
Yeah, it's pretty
market free money.
significant.
I don't know what to say. Nobody
Mhm.
on TV is telling people to gamble. People have chosen to gamble on
Yeah.
their own. If you watch TV, you have those the people on with the suits and the ties talking about all kinds of stuff that they, you know,
Mm.
the financial analysts and all. Nobody ever on there said, go to Vegas and put all your money on red and spin that wheel. Nobody ever said to do that.
Yeah.
But for some reason, society has taught everyone that that's the way to do it. And
Hey,
And
Ed.
there's just I don't know why. I
Mhm.
haven't figured that out in 25 years.
Well, you're proving them that there's another way, so people are learning. Maybe we can look at that screen that actually shows some of the top traders. And Charlie, too, I want to make sure that you know, and your community too. You can, going back to that managed profits, you can change that. Maybe some people, want to save 50% of their profits and have 50% go to the auto trader. Or maybe kind of Ed's strategy has been, once,
Yes.
if we're going to turn and run into a bull market, then when we're seeing, we could really crank out some profits and then maybe release those funds if you don't need to be living off them. There's plenty of, retirement accounts in here living off of those saved profits, but you can release them back at that point. This sort of the
Right.
strategy.
Yeah, in a bullet scenario, we'll let the winners run for a while until it retraces what percentage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
Well,
AI.
it's always buying and selling. So what's happening here now is we've been in this long term for the last 3 years, this downtrending market. It's been wiggling a real lot and we're taking a lot of money, but it's been on a long-term downtrend. And then they had the crypto summit at the White House not too long ago. And those people on there that are being put in a position to make things happen to help the crypto market. They even said we're going to remove the regulations that have been holding the crypto market down for the last 9 years. And I mean, I just heard yesterday something about the FDIC is now allowing banks to store crypto. That's fantastic because banks don't like it when you take your money out of the bank.
Mhm.
But so when this market turns to an uptrend, I'm in uncharted waters
Yeah.
because I haven't seen, I released an auto trader right when the crypto winter started. Can you imagine? I released a robotic trader and the market starts tanking. It's like, did I
Yeah.
do that? And then when it turned out, what I did was fantastic because we just kept taking profits and we overtook whatever was going down. We took more profits than what was declining. And so even I'm in uncharted waters here. What's going to happen when the market goes up? I know with the auto trader, it can't be anything bad. It's going to be great.
Gonna
It's
be
going to be fantastic. So I'm excited too to see how great it's going to be when this market really
Mhm.
starts an uptrend.
Me too. Me too. And we can see on that homepage, if people go to your website, that the top trader report, we can, folks
Here it is here.
can look at that.
See, you can click on this on the website, trade reports. Just
And
click on.
I
Oh, I'm on. Yeah, click on
I
trade
always
reports on the website.
Mhm.
And
And
what
I
this
just like to
shows
preface
is,
this. I
yeah, I'm
just want
going
to
to talk
preface it.
about. Oh, okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, because I know that you removed all the 6 and 7 figure accounts because Ed doesn't want people to think you
Right.
have to have a lot of money to earn in this auto trader. So otherwise, there would be like hundreds of accounts and lots of pages. So this is more representative of just what a normal person would come in with. So you don't need
Right.
those giant retirement accounts in
Good
here.
point.
Yeah, I took all the big the $500,000 to $700,000 accounts off here. They would just clutter up the screen.
Mm.
And I don't want people to feel like they need that kind of money. They really don't. But here's the starting account value, this first column. And generally, when someone asks me, because I get emails all the time, how much am I going to make? Well, well, I'm not an investment advisor, but all I can say is go to this report and find the amount of money you plan to trade with. Like, say you plan to trade with $20,000 and just see how they did over the last year in a down market.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see this guy started with almost 20,000. He made 22,000 in profits. And, that's 111%. I mean, the returns blow away anything out there. And I mean, I don't know where else you get returns like this.
Explain that
Right.
what happens,
Or,
Ed.
I mean, this guy here started with 9,000, made another 9,000, but he should only have 18,000. But you notice his ending balance is 34,000. And that's because he threw more money in after he saw what he was doing, what the trader
Okay.
did. This one here, even this one here, started with 1,200, made $1,100, shouldn't have more than, 12, 1,300, but he's got 6,000. It's because he threw more money in. And you can go down the line and you can just see this is a common behavior. This guy started with 500, made almost 500. He should have 1,000, but he's got 5,400 because he threw more money in. I can
Mhm.
tell you what happens, because I talk to a lot of people. I mean, a lot of clients, and what they're doing is money from whatever other investments they have eventually makes it into GoBabyTrade, because this is the one place you don't have to lift a finger and watch what it does all by itself.
Yeah. Well, and you always have access to your funds. It's just a software connection to your Coinbase or Kraken account. So, I love you can see all your positions there. If you need to grab cash for some reason, you can. It's not like you're tied up or locked up anywhere.
Right.
You have control of your funds, and I love
All
that.
of my money is in Coinbase. I like Coinbase. They have nice security,
Mhm.
and I trust them. They're a publicly traded company, so that's the reason I automated Coinbase and Kraken,
And
is
you use the
because
Pro
they're
account?
US based. Pardon me?
No,
You
not
use the Coinbase Pro, or because I'd have the $129 a month to save on trading
Oh,
fees.
Coinbase One, that
Oh,
added to save on fees. Yeah, Coinbase One, take all trades through the robotic trader go through Coinbase Advanced, which is on Coinbase, that has the reduced trading fees. And then Coinbase, if you have Coinbase One, they give you a 25% rebate. I think it's once a month they pay you.
nice.
So yeah, it's a nice added feature, just added, bonus, more free money. And a
Mhm.
lot of people trade with Coinbase. You can trade through USD or USDC. If you put your money in USDC, then they give you another 4.2%
Yep.
interest on the money. And remember, with Coinbase, you always have money on the side. And you notice again, so when you put all your money in up here, and it reserves money for buying down below. And there's nothing wrong with that. It would be like if you were building 25 tow booths, but you haven't built them yet, because unless the coin goes down there, you don't have to buy coins down there. So that's reserve money sitting on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get
So
interest on it.
let's use some numbers that the audience can relate to. So if there was a $10,000 starting balance and you mentioned lots, would that be like $200 at risk on one trade? And then if it goes down further, they would have another $200 lot, so to speak?
Well, yeah, technically that's exactly what it would do. You would have the $10,000 as cash sitting up here, and then it buys 3% basically of each coin,
Okay.
whatever you're trading. That's what it puts in play.
Down
Okay.
3%.
So that's the coins you own right there, that one lot.
But the actual lot calculation, Charlie, is based on the trading window. So if you have 100% down trading window, then that lot's going to be much smaller than if you had a 50% down window. So what happens is people, when they start, let's say they put 10,000 in, and Ed gets a call because if, a couple of weeks has gone by, they're like, we want to put more, how do we get more trades? And Ed's like, you got to be patient. This is not a get rich overnight thing. This is like Ed talked about at the beginning,
Right.
seeing your auto trader, building up your inventory, right? And then, when we get this volatility, you'll start moving along. So this is like an overtime long-term thing, because not all your money is at risk at once, which I appreciate. It's a conservative, steady Eddie, pull profits out. So on that 10 grand, it might be like 100 or 50 bucks that gets put to work in one lot, as it's doing the money management, calculating those lots based on your trade,
Right.
so you never run out of money, or
Well, sometimes I'll get phone calls when the market goes up big one day. And sometimes, I know, Francine, you said it's conservative, but I saw Shiba Inu go up 66% one day and 100% the next day. That sounds pretty aggressive.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
the traders can make some real money. It's not up to the trader to decide how much money it's going to make. Let me put it that way. It's up to the volatility. So high volatility for a robotic trader, or a bull market let's call it a bull market for a robotic trader, is based on the on the amount of volatility. If it's low volatility, I would call that a bear market.
Yeah.
But what happens when the market moves, when we have big days, and some of us have seen the days where these coins jumped up 19%, right? One coin's up 19%, another one's up 10%.
Mhm.
So I'll get phone calls from people saying, I want to be all in. I want to be all in. And I explain to them, if I may go back here,
Why
the
don't you?
coins you're selling on this up day, on this beautiful up day. Let me go down to where there was a lot. Like here, this day there was a lot of buying.
Yeah, that's pretty significant.
All right. So what I tell them is, the coins you're selling on this beautiful up day were bought on a down day.
So we
So
want
call me on a down day and tell me you want to be all in. Nobody calls on a down day and says they want to be all in.
Yeah. One other thing I want to point out to your community too, Charlie, that I personally really appreciate is that even though the parameters you can set to, buy down 3%, let's say is how we have them set now, buy down 3% and sell up 3%. That's like the parameter. But before the auto trader makes that, of course, it runs it through the AI. And if the AI keeps saying no, like there's 27 indicators in there, if it thinks in the next few minutes it's going higher, 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 we'll get like much higher up on that candle than just an up 3% move. So you can see on Ed's here where it says rules pass AI, when the AI kicks in and we're getting taller profits. So
Right here.
there are some people using this system that, that are traders that will, gamify it a little bit and use it, on their own volition. And I don't recommend doing this, but unless you're super
manually trading, the only way to lose money with this system over time
it's
is
manually
if you manually close a position.
Yeah.
And at a loss, then you've caused that loss. Plus the software, like I said before, it's not a black box. So you can actually click on this plus over here, and it shows you a lot of stuff. It shows you the next estimated buy price. It's telling you if this price drops to 18,677, it's going to buy more, and the current price is 2 cents. So it's got to drop from where it's at to 18 cents. And in order to take the profits, right now it's at 20.020. It shows it over here, target price on the right. It's got to go to 2.1 cents. It's showing you right here what it has to go to. So it's showing you how much it's got to go up and how much it's got to go down. And you can see the ones that closed, like this one lot closed at 3%, 2.92%. That means the price went down when the order was submitted because it was already 3% up when the software sent the order. And then you can look that $159.25. It's in multiple places. Here's the order right here, down here. Here's today's profits taken. It's showing it there. So you can, again, it's not a black box. You can see everything the trader is doing. There's no mystery.
Yeah.
And it's even telling you, remember I talk about how many lots it owns? I've been running this thing for a few years. This one owns 17 lots. Francine, you probably didn't see that because I added that just last night. This is a new feature.
Pretty cool.
People were always asking, how many lots do I own? And they got tired of going into here and counting them,
And that's
counting the lots.
That's a good thing to point out.
So,
I want to point that out real quick, that you and your son, Steven, Steven, Ed's son is programming with him for years. He's a genius. They are always tweaking and watching these things, you guys, and making changes
and making it better and better.
Yeah. So anyway, but Charlie, I know we're getting close to the end of time. Is there anything we want to, wrap up on, or?
Yeah, I'll leave that to you guys. I mean, I've had tons of questions and you've answered them along the way, so I appreciate that. But yeah, we're about 8 minutes left to go. So if there's any other points or anything else you want to show us.
Yeah,
sure.
You want to talk about your model, maybe? So I know there's a subscription fee, but then the traders, they keep 100% of the profits. So you're not doing any profit sharing either. Can you dig into that a little bit?
Yeah.
No, we don't do that. I've never done that. I've always, sold licenses, and many people have said you got to raise the price, Ed. This is crazy, because I'm going to tell you, people with bigger money, they make back the price of the software in one day. So it's nutty. But I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I learn from everyone. I've presented to audiences all over the country, and that's, over the years. And that's when I learned that everybody wants to make money, but nobody knew how. They were all really following the traditional models, like stop loss. Someone asked me one time, what is that lock-in loss in my stock trader? I don't have a stop loss in this trader, in the crypto trader.
Because we never sell at a loss ever. Yeah.
Right. Because it goes right. Because you can't set a loss like that.
And no shorting.
So
no shorting.
Right. We don't short. So when I had stop loss on I had lock-in loss as an indicator. And someone asked me, isn't that a stop loss? I said, no, it's if the price goes down and you're going to lock and you sell it, you're going to lock in that loss. I said, what's a stop loss? This is all the way back in 2001. And he said, well, a stop loss is if it's going lower. I said, how do you know it's going lower? Because you don't know. So it's a lock-in loss. You're just when you use a stop loss, you're just locking in a loss. And for instance, this one right here, we bought it and then we sold it and then we bought it back. So if it goes down, it's okay because you're just going to buy more at a lower price, and down is good. What I say is down is good because lots of inventory is good. It doesn't matter that it went lower and you bought all these lots.
We're still
And,
trading.
you know, like you can see how many lots, you know, GRT has 43 lots. It's okay. It doesn't matter because when you get a 20% jump in the market, you're selling a lot of those lots off at one time. If you only have one lot and the coin jumps 20%, well, you made 20% on that one lot. But what if you had a bunch of lots and you sold off 8 or 10 of them at one time? Now you're making some real money.
Yeah.
So, you know, the more lots you have, actually, the better off you are. And you've got the market trapped. That's when you have a lot of lots in a trader, I call that a well-seasoned auto trader. And
Yeah.
because the more inventory you have, really, the better off you are. And now I know that that flies right in the face of what everybody would call common sense, right? They would say no. They don't want to buy, you know, hold on to that inventory. They feel like holding inventory is bad. What's the difference if I'm holding inventory or I'm sitting on cash? There really is no difference. The only difference is that inventory is going to give me a lot of money back as the coins move around.
Because people are used to the buy and hold, and so they see those red numbers and, you know, they're not doing anything, but the trader is actively going to be selling at a profit those positions. And I love what you said, just to touch too, Charlie, what you said with not taking a percentage of profits, is that was another thing when I tried different bots that actually do take like 30 to 50% of profits. And Ed is just a straight subscription. It's for 3 years, and we did create a special link just for your community. That will save $1,000 on the subscription price. So when you go to the website, like it's not, it's a different. You'll get a savings. So we'll just look for that
in the show
It'll
description.
take 1,000 off the regular price.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
But you can see on January 30th, Alchemy Pay jumped from 2 cents to 5 cents in one day. I mean, it was a crazy jump. So if you didn't have, all that inventory to get over 200% return in one day on all that inventory, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. If you
Yes.
don't have a lot of inventory, then you didn't, you know, how many
Yes,
people
it
didn't make
is.
anything on that day?
So yeah,
You know,
closing
I don't believe
remarks.
in holding. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
I was
So
just gonna say,
it's also super.
go ahead.
Uh-oh, Francine, are you still there? Yeah, the
Yes.
software,
Sorry,
as
you
soon
guys.
as you sign up, it already has the strategies already in there. It even has a default button that says, you know, for the 3 coins that my staples are ACH, GRT, and SHIB. I'll trade those coins until I die. I mean, I feel like this 2-cent coin should be sitting at $20. So it's sitting down here just giving me free money for, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned, it's for life. I don't care
Yep.
if it ever goes back to 12 cents. It could sit down here forever.
And it's a really
And so
simple
you're
process.
already set up. As soon as you
Yeah.
sign up,
Yep.
it
And
starts trading.
Yep, and that's what I'm happy to hop on with folks and set them up. It's a super quick API. It's like literally 10 minutes, and we can walk through the interface. This what we're looking at now is not the actual auto trader. That's 2 million plus lines of code in addition to AI, like often in the cloud. What we're looking at now is simply the the interface, so we can see, you know, what's going on. But I will, just help you walk through that so you know what you're looking at, get your API connection, boom, we're done, and you're off to the races. And at the end of every day, you get a little report that gets mailed to you with your profits taken.
Right. You also get a trade report at the end of each day.
Yeah.
And
So
Coinbase
all
is
the
emailing you
traders are
too.
running on our servers.
No, Coinbase is
Mhm.
not I don't think Coinbase just comes from GoBabyTrade. Or does Coinbase send an email to Charlie, or?
I do at least
Yeah.
confirmations of trades, but
Oh, yeah. So if you're set up to get confirmations, you'll probably, I don't know that I'd recommend that because your inbox will get inundated.
right.
Yeah, on some days, like look at January 30th here. Look at all these
Mhm.
trades in one day, and it's pages,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can
Okay.
see them
pages
all
of
in your
trades.
Coinbase.
I
Yeah.
mean, when a coin moves, and you have a
Exactly.
lot of inventory, you're just buying and selling like crazy. I mean, it's fun to watch. And each trade, it pops up a screen and it has a cash register sound on the screen. You know, like
Yeah.
ka-ching.
Okay.
So if you're in the kitchen and you're in the bedroom, you hear your computer go ka-ching, then you go running in there to see how much it made. And that
Yeah.
was now see, that was a suggestion from another client, you know, he
Mhm.
suggested that and I added it. I add things that are beneficial, but I don't add enough to muddy it up so that you can make a mistake. There's no way you can make a mistake. You turn it on because you turn it on, you put in your coins, you connect it to Coinbase, and then you go on vacation because you're done.
Beautiful thing.
It's a great
Make
thing.
money
And
while we sleep. That's important, as
Thank you.
Warren Buffett says too.
Ed and his son are available, always working on things. I'm available, just an email or phone or text away for support as well. So it makes
Right.
it
We
fun.
don't let all emails get responded to every day. We don't leave anyone hanging. If anyone has questions or they
Yeah.
need help, we're
Oh yeah, and
there.
it's support@GoBabyTrade.com. Is that the right one for?
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this
And
has been super
mhm.
exciting to see it in action, and congrats on what you built and the results that you're getting for your clients.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've had clients for years, many years. They
Yeah.
just, you know, a lot of them were doing stocks. As soon as I turned on the crypto trader in 2021 in April, I said, "Oh man, I'm done with stocks."
Yeah.
Because I could tell right away. And one day I said, "Wow, you know, I never saw numbers like this in the stock
Mhm.
market."
Even though
But
Ed
you
still
know, you can see today is a slow day. You know, nothing's happening. Nothing seems to be moving. You
Well,
can
I'm
see it.
grateful that you created this, Ed, because I know you don't have to be, selling auto traders and doing this work, but being retired was driving you nuts, and this is your passion. You love this. You get to work with your son, and for you, this was like a forever till you die kind of thing. So I appreciate that having you here and
You're welcome.
for
You know,
us.
Steven's been doing it for 15 years. He loves it
Mhm.
too. My son is a master programmer.
Yeah, it's super
That's
fun.
cool.
Yep, yep, yep.
All
It's all
right. Well, thank you guys, and
yeah.
look for the show notes, and we'll have some more details on how to get the discount and contact